Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Bhagavad Gita as it is, chapter 15, the Yoga of the Supreme Person, text number 8. Shriram Yadavapnoti Shriram Yadavapnoti Yatschapyu Krimatishraha Grihit Vaitani Samyati Vayorgandan Ivashayat Shriram Yadavapnoti Yatschapyu Krimatishvaraha Grihit Vaidhani Samyati Vayorgandan Ivashaya. Shriram Yadavapnoti Yatschapyu Krimatishvaraha Grihit Vaidhani Samyati Vayorgandani Vashayat. Dame. Shriram Yadavapnoti Yatschapyu Krimatishvaraha Grihit Vaitani Samyati Vayorgandain Vashayat. Shriram, the body. Yat, as. Avapnoti, gets. Yat, as. Cha'api, also. Utkramati, gives up. Ishvara, the Lord of the body. Grihitva, taking. Etani, all these. Samyati, goes away. Vayu, the air. Gandan, smells. Eva, like. Ashayat, from their source. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Purport. Here the living entity is described as Ishvara, the controller of his own body. If he likes, he can change his body to a higher grade, and if he likes, he can move to a lower class. Minute independence is there. To change his body undergoes depends upon him. At the time of death, the consciousness he has created will carry him on to the next type of body. He has made his consciousness like that of a cat or a dog. He is sure to change to a cat's or dog's body. And if he has fixed his consciousness on godly qualities, he will change into the form of a demigod. And if he is in Krishna consciousness, he will be transferred to Krishna Loka in the spiritual world and will associate with Krishna. It is a false claim that after the annihilation of this body, everything is finished. The individual soul is transmigrating from one body to another, and his present body and present activities are the background of his next body. One gets a different body according to karma, and he has to quit this body in due course. It is stated here that the subtle body, which carries the conception of the next body, develops another body in the next life. This process of transmigrating from one body to another and struggling while in the body is called karshati, or a struggle for existence. Shriram Yadavapnoti Yatschapyu Krimatishvaraha Grihit Vaitani Samyati Vayorgandani Vashayat. The living entity in the material world carries his different conceptions of life from one body to another as the air carries aromas. Thus he takes one kind of body and again quits it to take another. Namo Vishnu Vidaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namane Namaste Saraswatunde Gauravani Pacharne Nirvishesha Srinivadi Paskatyade Satarne. Here the analogy is used of air passing through different places. The idea is that air is neutral. It doesn't have any particular smell by itself, but when it passes through a rose garden, then it smells very sweet. It smells like roses. And when it passes through garbage, it smells very bad. It smells like garbage. Now, the air is always the same, but due to association, sometimes it appears to be very flavorful, very pleasant, and sometimes very unpleasant, depending on its association. Similarly, the soul is always pure, beyond the material nature, but when it comes in contact with different modes of material nature, sometimes it appears to be good, sometimes bad, and sometimes in between, combination of good and bad. So that's due to, as Krishna will say in different places, it's due to association. Therefore, we, in the human form of life, we get to choose our association. Specifically, we choose to hear about what we should do and what we should not do. Anywhere you go, you're going to hear glories about how wonderful something is. Generally, in the material world, people are glorifying the billboards, in the newspapers, in the magazines, or on the internet, how wonderful eating is. If you want to get different recipes, you can type in recipe on the internet, and you'll get thousands of recipes. Whether you're interested in meat, egg, fish, or you're interested in becoming a vegan, or being a vegetarian, or breatharian, or whatever, there'll be something about eating. And of course, sleeping. There are whole stores filled with beds. Sleeping has become so complicated, you had to pick out a variety of between 200, 300 beds. Whether you want to sleep in the water, on a water bed, or you want to sleep on some kind of mattress that costs you 5,000 euros, either king size or queen size or emperor size. The emperor size takes up a city block. In case you roll over at night. And of course, sex life has been glorified out of completely proportion. Half the internet is just filled with pornography. And still people are not satisfied. And of course, defending. Any movie you go to, at least in the first, every 15 minutes, at least 100 people have to be killed, or else it's boring. Soon they'll have real blood flowing, splashing out from the screen, so people will feel it's more realistic, as if you were really there. Who knows, maybe they'll even shoot bullets out from the screen and kill a few people in the audience. Just to make it more realistic. So people are very much absorbed in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. And that's it. And on the other side, there's a possibility of putting our consciousness in something above eating, sleeping, mating, defending. The mode of ignorance, one believes that there's nothing except if you just eat, sleep, mate, and defend. And that's all you can do. There's nothing else to do. And you don't want to make any elaborate arrangements, that if you could simply roll over in your bed and the food's there, that's very good. Getting up to eat the food is rather, it's an austerity. If someone comes and they used to have what's called breakfast in bed. So you wake up, you open your mouth and someone puts some toast in it as you're yawning. And in the mode of passion, one is making plans, how to improve eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So therefore one has to work, because one doesn't want to eat just ordinary dead animal. One wants to eat a $300 dead animal. Or a very special animal that they killed in World War I or something. It's nice and soft. So people in the mode of passion, that's why they have these beds. In the mode of ignorance, you can sleep on a log. In the mode of passion, you have to sleep on a $5,000 bed in order to go to sleep. Because you're in so much anxiety over having to pay for the bed, you can't go to sleep. But you think you're sleeping on something very special, so that makes you feel good. Although having to pay for it makes you feel really bad. And in the mode of goodness, you can sleep on leaves as long as there are birds chirping. It has to be natural, that's all. And then you feel good. So these are the modes of nature, but there's something called transcendental, and in that transcendental state of consciousness, Krishna is added to the whole thing. In other words, Krishna is everywhere. Everything is his energy. Krishna is in everyone's heart. Krishna is he's the source of everything. It's where the universe came from. Now, without Krishna, then there's no spiritual experience. Krishna in some form or another. And because there's no spiritual experience, we think what we're experiencing is the ultimate reality. Whatever mode of nature we're in, we think that is what is real. But it has nothing to do with our actual identity, because we're asleep to who we actually are. And therefore, hearing about who we actually are gives us the possibility to associate with Krishna. If we accept the fact that we're Krishna's servants, and that we should utilize whatever energies he's given us in his service, then the result is that if we follow Krishna's directions through Guru, Sadhana, and Shastra and do something to please him, and if Krishna reveals himself to us, then we experience transcendental pleasure, happiness. Because Krishna is the source of Ladini Shakti, of the transcendental bliss, and therefore as our coverings get burnt away, as our illusion goes away, as we can actually chant Hare Krishna with some feeling that we actually want to engage in his service, then the result is that Krishna allows us to engage in this transcendental service, which is spiritual, which is different from the dull, dead, material experience that we have now. It's actually a different experience, but we have to want to. And in order to do that, we simply have to sincerely ask Krishna for it. But if we have so many doubts whether Krishna exists, who I am, so many different anxieties, what we're doing, what I'm going to do, what I did, then it's very hard to actually sincerely ask Krishna. Therefore, we have to engage in devotional service in a way that will gradually help us understand how we should try to chant sincerely, chant with some feeling, with the idea that I actually would like to see what it would be like to engage in Krishna's service. See if there's something different. Otherwise, we just think, well, it's a nice idea. Krishna is God and I'm his servant and everything. It's a good idea. But there's so many other things to worry about. I don't have time for it. Maybe tomorrow I'll think about Krishna. Maybe tomorrow I'll ask him if I have the time, if he can engage me in your loving service. Whatever that means. Therefore, Queen Kunti says that we shouldn't worry about being put into difficulty. The material world is full of difficulty, especially in Kali Yuga. But we should worry about whether or not I'm using that opportunity to think about Krishna. And if we use that opportunity to think about Krishna, then we should understand that our main obstacles in life for progressing in spiritual life is that we're attached to progressing in material life. We think if I can get more something, Queen Kunti says most people want more influence, they want more wealth, they want more personal beauty, they want a better material circumstance, more recognition, whatever. They want so many things. And therefore, as she said, we're already intoxicated by material existence, by our material identification, by our material desires. And then when we want to get more of them, then we become mad. Then we become just crazy. And a crazy person can't chant Hare Krishna with feeling. So rather than being disappointed that my fever isn't so high, and I should try to increase it, everyone else has a much higher fever than I do. One brother is talking to his mother, one child is talking to his mother and asking, what's wrong with my brother? Well, he has 102 fever. Can you take my temperature? Well, yours is only 100. Well, I want 103 fever. He can't have a higher fever than I do. So people are intoxicated, they're mad after material enjoyment, and they're envious of people who have more feverish mentality than they do, or more intoxicated by material existence than they are. And they're working hard to increase it, thinking that will make them happy. As if the people who are completely intoxicated with material existence are happy. Usually the people who are intoxicated with material existence, they're envious of the people who aren't intoxicated with material existence. And they want to get rid of them because they're envious. They feel guilty. So the point is, if we hear about Krishna, and we hear about pure devotional service, then our consciousness can change, our objectives can change. And if we simply accept some certain simple things, and then just try to chant Hare Krishna with some feeling, happily chant Hare Krishna, asking Krishna sincerely to engage us, and Srimati Radharani to engage us in their loving service, then they're fully capable of doing that. We don't need anything extra. Great devotees, like Haridas Thakur, were able to just chant Hare Krishna 192 rounds a day. And they didn't think, look at their canopies every Haridas Thakur wasn't looking at canopies. Wow, 150, how much more I got to go? No, they were blissfully chanting Hare Krishna because by chanting Hare Krishna, they were actually in the spiritual world. So we can be there too if we just practice properly and not be resentful that we got to chant Hare Krishna. I made this vow. I feel guilty if I don't do it, so I got to get it done as soon as I can so I can feel good and I can go to sleep peacefully. Not worrying that I didn't chant my rounds, thinking, oh, I'm a bad person because I didn't chant my rounds. God's going to chastise me. I got to walk. If I walk outside, maybe a thunderbolt will hit me. No rounds. All right. I'm sorry. I'll chant them tomorrow. Don't hit me again, God. We should take it as a great opportunity, and then we can make some progress in changing our consciousness. And if our consciousness changes, then our destination will gradually change also. We already have an appointed destination. If we left this body now, and we improve our consciousness, then at the very least our destination will be more auspicious as our consciousness improves. So I'll stop there. Thank you. Any questions? Yes. I guess we're never expecting anyone to ever ask a question.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. I can see how process can, I believe this process can help you to get over this intoxication of material existence. But how can also spiritual master helps you to get over this intoxication of material existence?
He tells you how to do it.
Nice. So you have to then submit.
Well, spiritual master, any devotee who has some experience more than you do can tell you how to do it. If you want to go from here to downtown, you don't need a person who's omniscient to do that. You just ask someone, you're walking down the street, You ask someone, do you know where downtown? And he points in a certain direction. And if you follow, you'll get there. Now, he may not be perfect. May not have to check his identification papers before you ask him. Can you show me that you're qualified to guide me to go downtown? No, because he knows he has more experience than you do. He can tell you. So every devotee who has more experience than you do in Krishna consciousness can help you to get to the next step, at least to the next step that he's on.
But if I remember, all the great devotees had spiritual masters, and also...
It's all right, so you can take initiation. Because otherwise you may ask 5 people how to get downtown, get all confused. So better ask someone they have faith in that knows something from Guru, Sadhana, and Shastra. But ultimately, the spiritual master also points out how you can figure out who knows how to get downtown. So you don't have to ask him all the time. Many other people know how to get downtown. He's not the only one. So you have to learn who knows how to get downtown and who tells you he knows how to get downtown, but they themselves are lost also. And if you follow them, you'll become as lost as they are. Anything else?
Hare Krishna, thank you.
Hare Krishna. I'm just wondering, for me it's quite a challenge, how to balancing devotional service and things that are connected to maintain this body, to plan for your health, or plan for organization, your time and this. And I often see that when I'm chanting, sometimes I start to thinking, oh, this will take me such and such time, and I don't have time for that, other things.
Well, write down on a piece of paper. Rather than just put it in your mind, think, what did I just remember? And then just have a piece of paper and write it down or something. You won't have to worry about it, that you can forget it. Mm-hmm. Then spend some time during the day organizing your life. Otherwise, you'll always be in anxiety, whether you're chanting or not. Yeah. It's not that the chanting is putting you in anxiety. It's just that we're always in anxiety because we're not organized. So organize a little bit, and then you'll be able to chant better. Not just because you're chanting better, because you're better organized. You don't have to worry about it. Anything else? Okay, thank you very much. Grandaraj Srimad Bhagavad Gita Ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai, Gaur Premanande.